It's dorky, but I think it's cool. And then he smiles, and for a while I'm in love.
Hi, and welcome to Rivers Ending Chronicles, episode 12. I'm back a bit, and I posted about this in the group. I'm not going to spend too long at the beginning because I want to actually have a bit of knitting, which is a big part of why I'm doing a show today. I am back at work, and school is starting. I did auditions for our fall show last week. I start rehearsals this upcoming week. We start building on weekends, and my school schedule and what's happened with my classes, I'm going to be really strapped for knitting time, and I want to keep this a knitting show. And so it's not that I'm worried about having time to record the show. The uploading takes longer than the recording most of the time. But it's just I'm not going to have much content. And sometimes I'm just really... I'll get into it later. But anyway, so I posted it on the group, but basically for a little while until I can get back into a groove where I can knit, or it might be until May. I don't know, but episodes are not going to be on a regular basis. It'll be more like, surprise, it's River, hi. So I hope I don't lose too many viewers. I hope you look at it as a little present for me. And the show does close in November. We run November 7th, 8th, and 9th, but we're also planning to take a one-act competition in January, so we're more than likely jumping straight from the close of that show into rehearsals for the one act that goes to competition in January. The musical is actually supposed to, we haven't picked one yet, but the dates for it are set for the February 28th, March 1st, 2nd, so I'll go from one act straight into musical. There might even be some overlap there. Sorry, itchy nose. But once the musical closes, if I'm in a good place with my classes, life should get much easier after March. Well, we'll have spring break, and then I go to state competition with my students in March. So life will get easier in April. Yes, except for that's when state testing is. So life will get easier in May, and that's when summer will start. I do have one class of seniors this year, and so they'll get out in the middle of May, and I'll have to have all their grades done and contact the parents for those who aren't passing, because I've got a feeling after meeting them there might be one or two of those conversations that'll need to be had unless I can get them back on track. So June, life will be easier in June, which will be the 1 year anniversary for the show because I started June 1st. So in the meantime, sorry to ramble like that, but knitting, because I've done some. If you might remember, some of the socks I think are behind me. Well, socks. I've gotten unused to the camera backwards disc. I did the tour de sock this summer and knit feverishly on socks until I couldn't sock anymore. When I signed up for Tour de Sock, there was a combo that you could do Tour de Sock and Sock Sniper. So in my big enthusiasm, I signed up for both, and to be a competitor for both, because I was enthusiastic. See? Enthusiasm face. Yeah, so the closer it got to Sock Sniper starting, I was expecting to get an email, and I actually discovered that I did, but it went into my junk. But she had said she would email to double check that everyone still wanted to be a combatant since we signed up so early. And I was going to, even though I had ideas, I did not then, nor do I now, expect to win. But last time they played, there was a prize for Best Death Video. And I thought, I really enjoy making videos. That'll be fun to make a death video. And I had this whole elaborate thing planned out, the schedule of videos I was going to do. And I don't know if there's going to be time to do them. I play two different characters with completely different makeup. And just getting ready for them takes a while. So I'm cutting back on that. But anyway, so I didn't see the email to step out. The first email that I saw was the one that said, here's your target, get ready to go. And I was like, well, I'm not backing out now. It's even numbers. I don't want to screw this up for everybody. I'm going to do my best. And the first was on Sunday. So I thought, well, I can get some good work done between Sunday and Monday because I'll be off. And so, the way Sock Sniper works, you are both an assassin and a target, which is why I'm playing 2 characters in my videos. And you know what? I'm going to pause right here, and if I can figure it out, I'm going to insert the videos I made of the assassin right here. Hello, target. Just a little note to let you know. I know who you are. And I know where you live. Starting tomorrow, I am going to work on only 2 things. Number 1, making sure my evil laugh no longer sounds like Santa Claus. And number 2, creating your weapon of target destruction. Prepare for Death by Madeline Tosh. Concerned it might be you? Have you posted in this thread yet? If the answer is yes, this might be on your way very, very soon. You know what I mean! Okay, hopefully that worked if you weren't just kind of staring at my face. Where that goes is there's a thread to kind of taunt and or plead for mercy from your assassin. So that was me taunting the person that I am targeting. Now I'm going to show you my first video as a target. That I did these yesterday, and that's when I realized that the getting ready for them was going to take a long time, and I'm going to need to figure out how to simplify that. But anyway, so here is my first video as a target. Hopefully I'm putting it here. I've been notified that there's someone after me. They're gonna try to take me out with socks. Is it you? Please have mercy. I don't even know how to knit. I'm no threat to you. I have the sticks, but look what happened to my string. You can go really, really slowly. It'll be okay, I promise. And I'm just going to stay right here and try to stay safe. Okay. Hopefully that worked. If not, then maybe I'll just cut this section out and figure out a way to put them at the end. But anyway, so how it works is everyone is both a target and an assassin. And in past years, you signed up and it was like $6.50, I think. Mine was bundled with Tour de Sock, so I'm not quite sure how much I paid round about that. And you got 4 patterns. Well, this year, they gave us 5 patterns for $6.50, and they're all from amazing designers. And one of them is my favorite designer of all sock time, Belly Button Knits. So, of course, when I knew that especially when I saw that she was moderating the Sock Sniper group, I knew I'll do hers. I get her. I get the way her mind works. I understand the way her patterns go. I am so used to her that I thought it would help me be a little bit quicker. So I picked the one of the 5 that is from Belly Button Knits, and the pattern is called Mila. And it's actually one of her simpler patterns, which I hope that my Target doesn't see this. I don't think my Target watches me. But the easier ones are tougher for me. The more elaborate ones that force me to focus, I don't have as much trouble with. Because this one is simpler, like, there are a lot of rest rounds. So, and if you didn't sign up, you can still, the pattern is, I think it's $5. You can get it off Ravelry. If some of her other stuff intimidates you and you want to get used to her style, this is a great pattern for that. But there's only actually in the leg portion 2 rows that have any lace patterning to them. I'm bad at those because it's so simple that my mind tends to wander, and I've made a few mistakes. But I really, really, really don't like to tink when there are knit togethers or slip knits, because I always make a bigger mess. So I've been trying to find, they're not huge mistakes. I don't think you can even see them. But in the next row, like where I missed a yarn over whatever, I can fix that without having to go backwards, because I'd rather not make a huge mistake and mess it up. So to start with, the yarn I'm using, this is going to turn me blue. The camera will do that. It did that in those videos. I'm going to put it over my face so it'll focus. That's gorgeous. Oh, wow. That looks so pretty. It is Madeline Tosh. My Target said just use stash, and I refused. I don't listen. And it is called Fathom. And, oh, now I'm all fuzzy. I'm kind of pretty or fuzzy. Me? No? No? Okay. I'm still not in focus. Anyway, I guess I'll just continue to be fuzzy. Okay, I'm going to stop looking at me, and I apologize if I remain fuzzy to you. Anyway, the shop where they held, actually this shop right here, it's called Yarn Therapy, where they held the Cascade Yarn Tasting, they've got a ton of not Malabrigo. I always use Malabrigo. They got a bunch of Madeline Tosh in. And so I went there because I hadn't shopped there in a while since the yarn tasting, actually. And I have to support local businesses. See? That's why I had to spend the money. So I went over there and I narrowed it down to 2. They thought this one would work the best for what my Target said she wanted. And I don't want to full out explain that because I don't want to tip her off. I've given a few hints, but if I just flat out say what she wrote, then she'll know that she's mine. But anyway, so this is how my sock is coming so far. I think it's lovely. This part, I was very brave. This part is optional, this little ruffly top. You could basically cast on twice the number of stitches, and then it had a whole thing to do to get this little ruffle edge, and I was like, I got 2 days off. I can totally finish 2 socks. Because I'm mental sometimes. But anyway, so I went ahead and did the extra for the ruffly part. I really like it. I think it's really cute. I love the color to look at. I love looking at the color of this yarn. To knit with, it's very dark. And my room gets dark, even with overhead and lamp. When it gets dark outside, I have a lot of trouble seeing, which is the other problem that I'm having with the lace sections. And I hate that sometimes I'm, like last night, I was awake enough, I could have done at least another few rows, but I just couldn't see the work. Have you ever seen a show called King of the Hill? And Peggy Hill has this, like, headlamp thing that she reads. She doesn't knit, but I seriously considered a headlamp, because I think that would be the only way I could possibly knit stuff like this in this room after the sun goes down. Because it gets fairly bright in here when the sun is up, but knitting at night with dark colors, it just doesn't. And once the time changes, which school started, so that'll be within the next few months, and I leave home before the sun comes up and I get home after the sun comes down, I will have no bright days in this room. So a headlamp, some more light, so that I don't damage my eyes. Okay, so that's the majority of the knitting that I've gotten done since the last time we talked. I have worked on the present for my daughter that I'm not going to get out again because I don't want to. It was kind of tricky to get that whole thing to be able to show you. And it doesn't look that much different. To be honest, I'm not going to name the pattern. If you watched it last time, you know. I'm wondering now if knitting left is a problem with that pattern. It will be the first pattern I've done where it is a problem, but it's not doing the effect that it does in everybody else's pictures. And I don't know if I'm just not far enough along to see it yet, or if it's a knitting left issue. So we will find out. My daughter is getting something else along with that, or she might just be getting something else, and I might have to find her. I've given her many a promise and a ball of yarn, so I'm not going to do that. She'll either get both, or she'll get one thing, and I'll save this for, or something else with that yarn for like Christmas or something if I can't get this to work. But for right now, I'm still marching on with it. It's just right now I'm stopped because, and that's not bad progress for like a day and a half, I don't think. I think for a day and a half and dark colored yarn, I think I've done a pretty good job. So, future things coming up for me. Oh! First off, we had sorting for the Harry Potter Knit Crochet House Cup, and there were so many people who signed up that not everybody got sorted, but I did, as I turned in something, even though the last month it was only a partial something. I turned in something all 3 months, so I got to keep my sorting priority, and I think technically I should have, if I were at the Hogwarts up in North Scotland, which I think is where it's actually located, or would be if you... There are people who figured it out based on the train ride and all of that stuff. But anyway, Northern Scotland, I would have graduated. I don't think, from what we know from the novels, Hogwarts ends at year 7. And we call them B1s. So I get to go back through as a bachelor level student, and then you get to go back again as a master's for another 7 if you want to. And then I think we might have a D after that, and then I don't know what they're going to call them past that. But as long as people want to keep playing. From what I understand, there are students who are M's this year. I believe that they graduated the B levels last term, so I think that they're 7 terms ahead of us. Understand that's not 7 years for us, because there are 3 terms that count as student years and every year. So they have been playing for a while, but just to get to, like, for me, I'm at almost 3 years in the game, even though I'm a B1 this year. I think that's how that works. But anyway, so we had sorting. And for anyone who's curious as to what house I might have been chosen for, yeah, sometimes people switch up. That's Gryffindor, in case you're not sure. Sometimes people switch up. Sometimes people just switch up randomly. Sometimes people say they want to do 7 years per house, and so some people who started with me switched to a different house. There were some people who were B7s 2 terms ago who switched to a different house this past term. So that happens, but even if I was in a different house, I would still be a Gryffindor, and it would just... I get that different houses have different personalities and different people in there, and they do different things, and that's all very exciting, and I'm very happy for them, but I just would feel odd, and it wouldn't be home. And my Gryffindors get me, and they get that sometimes I post 5 million things within a couple of days, and they're right there with me, and some days, or some, like I've been... I've been pretty much MIA since I went back to work, and I did let them know when I got my class schedule, even though at the time I was assured that there's no way they were going to actually make me teach 5 singleton classes. And I should have known better than to believe them. But anyway, I told them then that I would need to step down from my staff position in Gryffindor because there was just no way, and I needed to get rid of everything stressful. And so yeah, so they get it, and I can pop back up, and it's like I never left. And so I posted a little bit in my dorm, which is a smaller group. Sorry, my nose is giving me issues today. The main group in Gryffindor, the common room, is like over 2,000 posts at this point, and I always feel guilty I know that when you go in there, they'll say, just skip and start where you are and we don't mind. But part of me feels like, see, I'm going to not read what you said so I can write stuff that I want you to read that I said. That just seems wrong to me. It just seems disrespectful. So I then just feel bad to jump in, and I will probably at some point have to. Someone will ear burn me or something, and I'll end up having to skip a bunch of posts. But it just hurts my heart to have to do that. But I don't have time for 2,000 posts within. The term just started. That common room probably hasn't been open a week. But in my dorm, there are only 12 to 15, I think, of us, and so it moves much slower. So I can go in there, there's 3 or 4 posts, maybe a dozen or so, and still have my Gryffindor experience without feeling overwhelmed. This is the year of not being overwhelmed, and so that's of attempting to not be overwhelmed. And so that's part of why I really can't guarantee a day of the week the show will be, or if it'll be weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. I really like doing the show. And I really like getting to interact as much as I can. And I really like staring at this little Dalek who doesn't seem to want to exterminate me at this point in time. But if I try to put time limits on it, then it's going to feel like stressful. And so I want to just keep the part of this that I enjoy and not have the stress. I've been doing that with multiple factions of my life. I have actually sat down with acquaintances who are people that I have to be around, and have explained to them that with what is going on with my work right now, I don't have it in me to deal with their drama. That sounds rude. I tried very hard not to put it that way, and I told them that I didn't want to come across as rude, but that my life was very stressful. And I'm one of those people who, when people are spewing negative things around me, I soak it in. If people are positive around me, I soak that in too. I'm spongy that way. And so I had to tell them that I need to know when I walk into a room that it's a safe place with you in there, or I need to know to prepare myself before I walk into a room with you in it. And it actually ended up being a nice conversation, and I think we're actually closer to having had it. There are some people at work who are incredibly negative. Unfortunately, they get what they want, but I can't live that way just to get my way. I couldn't live with myself the rest of the time that I wasn't at work to do that. So I walked out of, we've been sitting together for lunch, and people have been complaining about what's going on with me to me, and I got up and walked out a couple of times from that. I've informed people that I'll leave meetings if it turns into non-helpful negative vomit. I just will have to leave, and that's protecting myself, because everything else that's going on is hard enough. And I've probably just totally been talking in circles. What's happened, for those of you who don't teach, all teachers at my school, unless you request it, teach 5 classes a day. And Generally, most people teach 2 different courses, so you'll teach one class twice and one class 3 times, or sometimes occasionally you'll teach like one class 4 and then you'll have just one class that you just do once. That's just kind of this oddball. Like some people have 3, and that's what our contract says, you can have up to 3. And when that happens, you get lots of sympathy. Oh, I can't believe they made you do, so you'll get 2 of one, 2 of one, and then some odd thing to stick it out there. I have 5 different courses in 5 different days. They're called preps, classes you have to prepare for. I got 5 this year. And I can't say I didn't know, because when I got that letter in early August, that's what it said. And I got a bit numb, well, a lot numb, and I panicked a wee bit, but then I was told, no, we talked to administration, we're fixing it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So when I went in that first teacher day, part of me was expecting to have a different schedule than what I was sent. And part of me did know that no, they're not going to fix anything. It's not a concern of theirs. And so 2 of the classes are classes that I have never taught before. One is 11th grade, one is 12th grade. I've taught 12th grade before, but that was AP Literature, and this is a general level 12th grade class. And I've never taught 11th grade before. My plan as of the end of last year was to revamp the acting 1 class, because I just wasn't getting the kids to where I wanted them to be. But that's kind of backburnered at this point. It's a year of I'm going to do what I can and try to stay as positive about things as I can. The person who also teaches the 11th grade course that I teach is the person who is so incredibly negative and that I can't, for my own mental health, associate with. And so I'm on my own for that one. I'm going to get upset. I'm trying not to get upset. I'm just passing this along. So my 12th grade course is actually yes, there's been 12th grade general for a long time, but they've renamed the course. They're trying to make it so that it's more the skills that students need, so they don't have to take remedial classes if they go ahead and go to the local community college after graduation. And so it was revamped last year, and the people who taught it didn't think that they'd done that good a job. And so we've gotten a little bit of help from the county, but it's basically, you have all these single classes, why don't you just make life easier on you and do your own thing? Translation, you're on your own. So, and no one else teaches theater, and so I'm on my own there. And I'm directing a show, and everything else, so yeah. Life is tough, and it's going to be for a little while, but the time will pass. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, I've been counting down the days until the school year ends, and the time's going to go by anyway. So what can I do? And I told my department head, I said, you know what, this is actually could be a good thing, because if I'd gotten exactly the schedule that I wanted and was teaching exactly the classes that I felt the most prepared for, every day I'd come in thinking that I had to be perfect and I had to be so amazing, because I really felt like I knew what I was doing with these things. And because I got what I got, all I really have to do is keep my head above water, and any day's a win. I can do what I can do, and there's no perfection on the radar, and that's okay. And it, in one sense of it, takes the pressure off, because I'm not putting pressure on myself to be this amazing, stellar anything. I'm just getting through. And I'll get through. And next summer, I'll be back to a weekly schedule, but I don't know what'll happen before then. So, okay, I rambled for way too long, and that got far more personal than I intended. I might cut some of it, I don't know. Because we're at 26 minutes, and I'm going to put those 2 videos in. So, thank you so much if you made it all the way to the end. And I apologize for getting upset about work, because this isn't about that. And hopefully I won't have been killed, and I never did explain Sock Sniper. I'll do that very quickly. So basically, everybody's a target and everyone's a sniper. If I get killed before I finish these, I have to send what I've completed. I get to take my own needles out, put in waste yarn, and send what I've completed to the person who killed me. And then they're going to try to kill my target. If I kill my target before anyone kills me, my target sends me what she's working on, and I try to take out her target. And so on and on it goes, and the lady who's running it keeps up with the whole thing. That's the part that would drive me nuts, because I mailed mine, and she did. I don't even know how that. It works every year, and so I am trusting. It'll be great, and I'm hoping that my assassin knits very slowly, because I'm okay with being taken out. I'm okay with not winning. I did not think I would win. I have no intention. I'm just not. I can't imagine winning, but I would like to finish the socks and get at least one. I'd like to finish one, and I really don't want to be in the middle of the second one. I feel like if I start one, I want to get to the end of it, and if I start the next one, I want to get to the end of it, and then get them posted. So I would love to be finished with these by the time I talk to you again and just tell you I mailed them and show you a photo. Chances are very slim, but I want to do my best. Anyway, so thank you for watching. The group is on Ravelry. I haven't been there in a few days. Apologies to my group members. I have this life going on. But anyway, it's Rivers Knitting Chronicles. On Ravelry is the group. If you're watching on iTunes or on YouTube, you can go to Rivers Knitting Chronicle. It's Rivers, plural, knittingchronicles.com, and that's where the blog is. And so I put the show notes there, and the videos are all there. I did not put the sniper videos there because those are just on YouTube. And anytime I do anything kind of kooky like that, I'll probably just stick it on YouTube. And I'm including them on this one. I might do that. Well, I planned to do it because time was short, but now we're at 30 minutes. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time, I hope. Bye. Happy knitting.
On a boy named Samson. He doesn't know who I am, and he's got thick brown hair. Blue eyes that stare into your soul.